Who's your commander?
Good luck.
Equip.
Move to combat. Resolves.
Right.
Now, before you attack
Does
me,
anyone have an answer?
well played.
Good game.
Hey everyone, my name is DJ. This is the Jumbo Commander YouTube channel. Today, everyone else is talking about spoilers. Innistrad Midnight Hunt spoilers are happening right now, but with the new set comes standard rotation. And that means that a bunch of different Magic sets are leaving standard and maybe becoming a little bit more affordable for us Commander players. Let's take a look back at one of the older sets. Today, it's Throne of Eldraine. It was one of the most powerful sets released in recent years, and there are some great Commander cards inside. First up, we're going to take a look at the top 10 cards that are seeing play in Commander according to EDHREC.com. Number 1 is Faeburrow Elder. 3-mana mana dorks are a little bit rough, a little bit slow to get going, but when this can tap for 5 mana, it ends up being totally worth it. Number 2, we have Mystic Sanctuary. This land is an island, check. It also lets us re-buy spells from the graveyard. And there are actually a ton of different combinations of spells and bouncing lands that can have Mystic Sanctuary be part of an infinite combo. Number 3, we have one of my favorite combat tricks. It's Return of the Wildspeaker. 5 mana could draw you a lot of cards, but also give you an instant speed overrun if no one's blocking your creatures. The ability to refill your hand or kill someone are two very powerful modes on an instant. Next up, we have another land, Fabled Passage. Now, this is a fetch land, and it does have the potential for entering the battlefield untapped. In fact, Fabled Passage has made its way into a ton of different decks of mine. At number 5, we have Thrill of Possibility. Instant speed looting is really great. I love having my card draw come at instant speed. By the way, Fabled Passage and Thrill of Possibility both were also in M21, another set that's rotating out. So we know that there are a lot of really popular Commander cards rotating out of standard. Next up, we have the Great Henge, one of the most powerful Commander cards out there. 9 mana legendary artifact. It does everything. It has you drawing cards, gaining life, putting counters, casting it for cheaper. It's phenomenal. It's also over $40. Ugh. Also, this didn't see a ton of standard play, and so a lot of the price tag for the Great Henge comes from Commander players already, and so we're not going to see a big dip in its price. Honestly, if you need it, it's going to be hard to reprint the Great Henge, so if it goes down a couple bucks, maybe you bite the bullet and pick one up. I don't know. Next up, we have one of my favorite legendary creatures from Throne of Eldraine. It's Sir Conrad the Grim. I've slotted this in so many different decks because honestly, just doing normal aristocrats creature-based strategies, Sir Conrad drains people out. Number 8, we have Drown in the Loch. Just a really efficient removal spell or counter spell, but you have to have things in the graveyard. Number 9, we have Oko Thief of Crowns. I'm surprised it's all the way down here. It's only $15, and it's a very efficient removal spell, even if it isn't as just punishing as it is in 1v1. And then at number 10, we have Castle Locthwain. Actually, this whole cycle is phenomenal, but Castle Locthwain is amazing. Basically, it enters the battlefield untapped if you control a swamp, which is great because this can slide into so many mono black decks super easily. But then it can just give you some reliable card draw. Yes, you'll lose some life, but that's totally fine. These are the top 10 cards seeing play from Throne of Eldraine, and they're doing a great job, but they're not the only cards seeing play. You know, if you're looking at the Throne of Eldraine set, I wouldn't overlook all of the Brawl decks that were released with it. Arcane Signet is technically number 1 on EDHREC, but that was in all of the Brawl decks. In fact, it was insane when it was first released. People were like, what is this card and how expensive is it going to be? But along with the set came cards like Kenrith the Return King, which was the buy a box promo in the collector boosters and stuff like that. But also some of the most popular commanders like Corvold and Shulain and Alayla Artful Provocateur. And yes, Sir Gwyn is here too. But honestly, really strong legendary creatures and really interesting cards in that supplemental set. All right, if standard rotation isn't making the Great Henge cheaper, what can I get for cheaper? Well, Embercleave at one point in time made up 22% of the metagame, and Embercleave is an amazing equipment. It flashes in, so it's kind of like a combat trick. It gives double strike and +1/+1 and equips really easily and is dangerous. It's also around $6.75, and so hopefully this will get under the $5 mark and have it be just a really powerful, cool piece of equipment that you can slot in so many different decks. You know, another card that you should pay attention to, which saw no standard play, but is still very exciting and cheap, is Garruk, Cursed Huntsman. This 6-mana Planeswalker has 5 loyalty, and it has a very powerful 0 ability. Its 0 is create 2 2/2 black and green wolf creature tokens with, when this creature dies, put a loyalty counter on each Garruk you control. As more Garruks are made, this wolf loyalty synergy, and it could be more and more powerful. And Garruk, Cursed Huntsman, is $3.50. That is very cheap for a Planeswalker, and a Planeswalker that could theoretically do some broken stuff if we happen to get some sort of Garruk tribal deck going on. The -3 destroys a creature and has you drawing a card, which is fine. It's not the best value in Commander, but it's these wolves that provide protection and can feed your other Garruks that make this card truly unique and worth you buying right now. One other card that is exceedingly cheap that I found to be very powerful is Midnight Clock. You know, 3-mana rocks, people are just like over it right now. But I love 3-mana rocks now because they're doing more and more than they ever did before. This is no Darksteel Ingot here. Okay, yes, it adds a blue, but you can just start putting counters on it, and this could theoretically draw you a fresh hand. I think people get worried about how quickly it adds counters and feeling like they don't have control when they get a fresh hand, but honestly, 7 brand new cards from your deck should be incredibly powerful no matter where you are in the game. So embrace Midnight Clock. It's a fun card, it's a powerful mana rock, and you should be playing 3-mana draw 7s. They're really good. I also want to give a shout out to my all-star common Crashing Drawbridge. If you need haste on a budget, talk about 35 cents for this haste enabler in your deck. It's awesome. Of course, one of the most played cards around anywhere in Standard is Bone Crusher Giant. It is in every deck that can play red. It's very good. It is underwhelming in Commander. It's barely making it into the top 100. I know, I even think it's ranked 100. But this is a card that everyone needed and everyone is just gonna get rid of. So if you want a Bone Crusher Giant, I do think that you can pick them up for cheaper. Maybe you have a giant tribal deck. It is still a pretty good 2-for-1, so maybe you do find decks to slot this into. All right, and that is my look back at Throne of Eldraine. We have the top 10 cards in Commander, a theme of the Brawl decks that we might not have been paying attention to, and then some cards that saw a lot of Standard play that we could pick up for cheap, and some underrepresented cards that you might need to pay attention to. Overall, Throne of Eldraine is a set that deserves a look back before we look forward to the newest set. I want to thank Cool Stuff Inc. They're the sponsor of the Jumbo Commander YouTube channel. If you use the coupon code JUMBO5, you can save 5% off your order. I also want to thank my patrons. They keep this show going. Thank you, patrons, and thank you for watching. And stay tuned because we've got Ikoria coming up, we've got Core 2021, and we've also already done Theros Beyond Death. So pay attention to these videos if you like them and give me that thumbs up so that I know that you like them too. All right, everyone. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.